sure you can probably come up here. If there's any questions from the floor, rather than shout them from the back, I'm sure you can probably come up here.
visit to the circuit for him, had to learn his way around, and these guys have had about an hour and a half, 2 practice sessions and a qualifying session to work out where this track goes, and he's got it down the best pretty much out of the non-Japanese riders.
And you've been down there in the Asia Talent Cup tent with them, George, all weekend long. It's been a long weekend. There's a lot to take in, as well as we just take a glimpse here at Rostam here on the grid, one of the many Malaysian riders in the field. Japan really does lead the way, though. We're in Japan, and 7 Japanese riders in the top 10 positions of the championship. But just going back to what I was touching on before, how do you sort of gauge the mood down there? There must be some tension down there. There has to be.
Yeah, there is quite a lot. And actually, the biggest thing for these guys, at the beginning of the season, they were just very nervous. They didn't really know what to expect. They didn't really know what to do. But they've now, after so many rounds, they've got into their routine. They know where they need to be. They know what they need to be doing at certain times. So they've been able to focus more on setup and on how they're riding. And a lot of them have actually progressed throughout the season and sort of moved themselves up. But here, the biggest thing has been gearing with these bikes and getting the right gearing. A lot of them went far too long, as we've got a rider at the back there who's waving his hands around. His bike hasn't started, so whether they'll just push him off the grid or not, or we'll have a slight delay to this sighting lap, we'll have to see when we get a wide shot. We'll let you know. And that is number 5.
So that's
Safik Ezarik.
Yep, Ezarik.
He's got the bike started, so he's okay. Ezarik will join us, and we'll have everybody setting off for this round.
So don't forget your front row. It's Date from Toba. They're first and second on the grid. They're first and second in the championship. Results up there on the front row. Great qualifying. Atira Pupapat, always a good qualifier. 3 times on pole already across only 6 races. Half the races so far on pole before this one. And there you go. So the only sort of sign on the crash helmets to identify these riders with in terms of the crash helmets are the flags on the top of them. Other than that, we're going to have to keep a very, very close eye indeed on the numbers on the fronts of the fairing. So it may well be a good idea to have a copy of the entry list in front of you back home.
And you can see as the riders left the grid there, we've got some of them wearing dark visors, some of them choosing a clear visor. It is pretty overcast, and we've been practicing in bright sunshine all weekend, so the track's going to be a little bit different. But for these guys, actually qualifying took place 45 minutes later than this yesterday, when there was a big shadow of the huge grandstand here covering nearly half the circuit. So the temperature in terms of track temperature will be pretty much similar to what it was yesterday. It's just the air temperature that's different a little bit, and also obviously your vision. So that's why some of them have gone for a clear visor. As we go on our warm-up lap here, it's Yuta Date, the number 6, who is just stretching his legs, you know, finding his lines and pushing a little bit harder, maybe seeing what his bike will be like in those first couple of laps. And they're just going to be, well, let's hope that they all get around the first corner for these guys, because, you know, they don't get time to practice a start like that. They don't really have, in the same way that MotoGP does, that opportunity to see how the bikes react in that first start and first braking. So it's going to be hell for leather into the first corner, I think.
Yeah, hell for leather indeed. It has to be said, actually, they have got through the first corner on most occasions across the first 6 races of the season, including the season opener back in Qatar.
It's the last corner that they struggle with.
That's the problem. That is the problem. And we've seen a few thrills and spills already. Obviously, it's to be expected, though, isn't it? These riders are so inexperienced. Just to give you an idea of how inexperienced they are, many of them just coming up onto racing bikes for the very first time. Well, all of them, for that matter. 112 championship points then for Date. Don't forget the championship point system here in the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup, exactly the same as the World Championship. So 25 for the win, 20 for second, 16 for third, and so on, down to 1 point for 15th place. So by my reckoning then, George, only Date and Toba can lead the championship at the end of the day. That's why the likes of Sasaki really do need to close in now. Only 2 races left after this one.
Yeah, Sasaki and Mizuno both also have a chance of taking the championship with 75 points to play for. But like you said, at the end of the day, here, there will only be 2 riders who can walk away leading this championship. And they are this man, Yuta Date, and the man who's going to line up next to him on the grid, Kaito Toba. And look at the back of the grid for Ryo Mizuno. Ryo Mizuno, who crashed in qualifying, didn't set a fast lap, but he is 4th in the championship, has ridden a lot around here. We know he can be fast, so look for him to come through. That's the number 15, Ryo Mizuno, to maybe make something out of this race. As they all line up, we're nearly ready to go for this round of the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup.
It's a 15-lap race, and just putting into second position on the grid there was Toba. He's second in the championship as well. Date, Toba, Razor 1, 2, 3. We're all set then for round 7 of 9 in the 2014 Shed Advance Asia Talent Cup. Away we go, and it is a strong start then from Data. That's exactly what he wanted. Moving across the cover was Toba, and now then fingers crossed that they all get through these first 2 corners cleanly on this first lap of the race. Diving up the inside there is Kuninime. They're battling very hard indeed for 3rd place, and one of them down already out of the race then goes Rostam.
That's Rostam. Fakuzi Rostam is out of the race, and the guy that was in 3rd place, Shafiq Razol, on the grid has been swallowed up. The number 3 dropped down to about 10th position there, but it is Yuta Date that leads it from Kaito Toba in 2nd. So our championship challengers are 1st and 2nd. They stream rounds turns 3 and 4 here.
Look at them flying through there like bullets from going down to turn 5 for the first time. Mark Marquez had a problem here in MotoGP opening practice on Friday with a brake problem. Now then, steaming through comes number 16. That is Toba. Takes the lead from Yuta Data. That's exactly what he needs to do. And if he stays in front of him, he leads this championship heading to Malaysia in 2 weeks' time. But still a very, very long way to go. It's a 15-lap race distance here. Up the hill then to the S's for the first time. A lot of curb there in the background for Sasaki.
Yeah, and Kanimune now up into 2nd. Takuma Kanimune has moved up into 2nd. He's had 1 second position in China, and he's now sitting up there behind Date. So it is now Date from Kanimune, and then it is Toba in 3rd position, and it's all going to be up. We've got a couple of Thai riders, Chantra and Atira Puvapat, are fighting out behind, and the number 18 of Chantra is in 4th position at the moment, and Sasaki is now past Atira Puvapat. Sasaki, the number 22, is up into 6th position. The youngest rider on the field as we stream down towards turn 11 for the first time.
Good news then for Fakuzi Rostam, who's actually rejoined the race. We saw the Malaysian off down in the gravel trap of the first corner. He's back in the race. Quite for how long remains to be seen. Let's hope that bike isn't too badly damaged. So this is the 90-degree right-hander of turn 11 for the first time. Under the second of the 2 crossovers. That's where the oval here, the IndyCar and NASCAR oval, crosses back across the road circuit here at Motegi. Left, right flick. There's Kuninime into victory corner. And they will be heading for victory in 15 lap times. Number 11 then, coming through the picture there, is Helmi Asman. Hasn't been the best of starts then for Asman, and there's Sarapush. McLeod Sarapush, he was right up there at the start of the season, but sort of off colour recently, George.
Yeah, she's not really... Oh, we got a crash coming out of the final corner, and that looks to be... Yeah, it is Razol. No, it's not. That is Mizuno. So Mizuno was looking so good at the start of this weekend, but he's had a crash in qualifying, and now he's crashed in the race, and that is a very strange place. We'll see a replay of it. Oh, he just gets flicked over the high side as he comes back on the track. Cold tyre, if ever there was one.
Oh dear,
very
4th
slick,
in the
though.
championship.
Sliding on one knee and standing up, that's impressive. He knows how to crash with style.
And he's got to try and get back into this race if he can. Don't forget, he needs to match that race number and finish 15th if he can to score a point, but he needs a lot more than that. Practically race over then for Mizuno. Very bad news indeed. He's 4th in this championship, and as George mentioned, still a championship contender. Might not be any more though. So we're on to lap 2. Still leading the way then is number 5, which... No, I'm getting this confused. This is the problem we have now with the numbers. Please forgive us.
It's the 6. It's Yuta Date. Number 5 is Ezarik, who's dropped down to 11th position. So we've got Date from Kanimune, from Toba, Sasaki, Chantra, Atira Puvapat, Razol and Sekino. And then look at the start again. It was an awful start for the number 3 on the outside of the grid, Razol. He just got swallowed up in there. But Yuta Date, he had really learn how to get this thing off the line. I think he might have been sneaking in a few practices somewhere. And that was the crash. That was the crash for number 7 right at the start. And Fakuzi Rostam just all on his own. And they were really lucky not to collect any other bikes in there. Just, I don't know, that was luck rather than talent, I think, that meant that nobody hit him.
That was very, very fortunate indeed, wasn't it? Now look at this. Back down to the right-hander at turn 11.
That was
the
Toba.
second time. Yes,
Toba having a look up the inside of Kanimune. Up into 2nd. He knows that he needs to finish ahead of Date. It's as simple as that for him. He needs to win this race to take over the championship lead. So it is Date from Kanimune, Toba, and then Sasaki now in 4th position. Closing in on this lead 3, so it's 4 Japanese in the top 4. Then Razol, Chantra actually, then Razol still in 5th position. 6th position indeed as we head round turn 1 and 2 once more.
Still 13 to go then in this race. All the fastest laps flying up down the timing screen. Fastest lap time then was Razol, who's 6th in this Grand Prix. Mizuno has rejoined the race, but he's way, way down the field in 21st place. Last of the remaining runners then. Now steaming through on the inside is Razol, and don't forget he's recovering then at the back of the field. But flying through, what's happened to Razol though? Because he was running 6th at the start of the lap and set the fastest lap of the race. So Razol's dropped back there, number 3. And there he is, just in front then now of Chantra. So there's your confirmation. Fastest up of the race for Rizal at this stage. He's rejoined the leaders. Darte still continuing to lead. He's very good at leading from the front, isn't he? He's the only rider to have won a race in this championship so far from pole position. Did that in Qatar back at the start of the year. Don't forget, it's a 4-point championship lead for Darte over Toba.
And this is how these races tend to play out. We've only had one race where somebody's actually managed to break away at the front and pull away, and that was in the last round where Ayumu Sasaki, the number 22, won by 4 seconds. Somehow, magically, he managed to get a gap and hold it. He broke the toe of the other riders, but here it's all about just staying in the wheel tracks, biding your time, moving your way up into the top 3 or 4 positions. In the final 2 laps or so, this is going to go pretty much haywire for these guys. But like you said, Yuta Darte is very confident at the front of the race. He doesn't seem to get flustered. He doesn't seem to miss his braking points. He doesn't seem to fluff his lines or run wide into corners. And probably that's quite good to follow for the others. They can learn a little bit about how he rides and see whether he will start to adapt as the race goes on.
He certainly is adapting at this point. Look at that. There's the pit lane entrance on the left-hand side. This is Victory Corner again. At the end of the lap, looking towards the apex of the corner then was your race leader. Number 17 is Kaito Saniko. One of the many Japanese riders in the field in Japan really are leading the way at the moment, aren't they, in the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. Now then, on the march, 16 attacks, 21 up the inside. That's Toba having a real go at Kuninime. Front runners all season long so far.
And again, this is where the gearing is going to play into the hands. The people that have got it right. As we look again, here comes Toba looking down the inside of Kinimine, and he does get in this time. So Toba moves up into second place as we move to the second group, which is headed by Muglada Sarapuch, the 22-year-old girl, who's the only girl in this, and she's ahead of Kitami, Tsuruga Kitami, one of the other Japanese riders. So this is really, and a number 11 there, Helmi Asman, going really, really wide and flying off the track. As we look back at this second group, we've got the leaders all lapping in around the 203, 203.6 mark. And these guys are all in the 204s. So that's why we've got 2 clear groups breaking out here. Back with our leaders. Number 6, Yuta Darte. Toba now in second position. Kinimine in third. And Sasaki in 4th. So 4 Japanese at the front. Shafiq Rizal, Chantra, and Atira Puvapat. And at the back, Kasuka Sakino, one of the other Japanese riders, just at the back. He hasn't shown that much speed. He's quite a lanky guy, and he's not had a lot of top speed on that bike. He's been one of the slowest through the speed traps. Maybe he sorted something in the race or not, but in qualifying, he was about 3 or 4 kilometres an hour slower than everybody else. And don't think that it'll change for the race because they're slipstream, because they slipstream all the way through qualifying as well.
Watch out then for Rizal, another fastest lap in this race. He's running 5th in this race as they stream down. He's number 3. He's at the back there of that pack. Look at all this side-by-side action down into turn 11 again. Through he goes, or does he? Oh, it's getting very tight. Toba needs to be very careful. A little bit, I think, testing it. He's got to be careful with the championship situation. He's still second in the championship. He's only 4 points behind Darte. Cannot afford to throw away a potential 20 here for second place. Then again, Darte's running around in the lead at the moment. So up a place, up into third goes Sasaki, and he is on the charge. This is lap 5 of 15. Still 11 to go here at Motegi. There's no point taking great risks, but look at Rizal. He's the fastest rider on the track, and he's through. So he goes 4th at the start of lap 5. He's charging now.
Yeah, that was all at the expense of Kunimine, who dropped back 2 places in 2 corners. His drive compromised by the move from Sasaki, and that meant that Shafiq Rizal could stay up there and mix it with the top Japanese riders. I'm very impressed with Rizal, I've got to say. The Malaysian talent, he's really starting to impress. He got a podium last time out, and I think it's done his confidence no end of good, as we're going to have a pass for the lead here. It is side by side. We've got Darte and Toba now into the lead, and Darte drops back and loses 3 positions into one corner. He was totally compromised by his choice of line and couldn't brake at all, had no confidence, and he's dropped from 1st after leading for the first 5 laps to 4th, and we're going to have a change for the lead again here, as here comes Sasaki. Not quite. It is going to be Toba who carries on with the lead. Sasaki now into second, Kunimine in third, and Darte in 4th. In fact, no, it's Rizal in third.
And he is charging. Look at Rizal, number 3, up into 3rd place, as you say, George. So matching his race number as well now in terms of position. Replay. This is the move then, down into turn 5. On the left is Darte. On the right is Sasaki. But watch what happens to championship leader Yuta Darte. He's just been swallowed up by everybody. Through goes Sasaki. up into second place, and he finds himself then down to fourth place. So not a great situation going on there for the championship leader. Having said that, he's just got to stay with the bunch now, not let them break away. And I have to be honest, they're not looking as though they're breaking away right now, are they?
Though we might have another change for the lead here. Here comes Sasaki down the inside. Not quite. That camera foreshortens the distance a little bit, but it did look a little bit like Toba actually kind of brake-checked Date, made him brake a little bit earlier, and that upset his line. Don't think that these kids don't know how to race motorcycles. They do have some really good racing brains. These guys right at the front really know what they're doing, and they are absolutely determined to put one over on whoever gets anywhere near them. And to be fair, some of them don't really like each other either. And here goes Toba, just leading into turn one. It's just that they're choosing lines and just experimenting with different speeds. And we will have some more passing on this lap, I guarantee.
We certainly will. Toba leads the way. Sasaki is second. Result is third. And now look at Date fighting back. He's up the inside. Result, no, thinks better of it. That's mature stuff, though, isn't it, from Yuta Date? He knows what he's doing. He's got this championship lead. There's no point losing it there with a front ender down into turn 3. But 16 still leads the way. Kaito Toba, he's second in the championship. He'll lead it if it stays like this. Thing is, it's not going to stay like this, is it? Because look how things are changing so constantly. And I tell you what as well, George, this 5-rider scrap may soon become a 6-rider scrap, because it really is bunching up. Now, is that a problem for Mizuno? Well, it is a problem because he's down there in 21st place. We saw what happened. Very strange incident earlier on, but he's so far down the pack now.
Yeah, still circulating, but only doing the 206s, so a few problems with that bike as we switch back to our leaders. Like you said, 5-rider battle. We're going to have a change for third position. That could be Date moving up into third position at the expense of Razal, and it is. So the number 6 back up into third position. Number 16 of Toba leads from Sasaki, the number 22. And Sasaki, I think, wants to get past into the lead because he probably thinks he can do what he did before and pull away at the front. He's got that level of confidence at the moment, and he's pretty quick because he weighs about 30 kilos dripping wet and has got some good speed for these guys. And it's each tiny kilometre an hour makes a difference for these guys. And he's through it, and he's through. There goes Sasaki into the lead.
Oh, that was as close as you like, cutting it across the bows there of Kaito Toba, who will not be best pleased with the situation. Sasaki, winner of the last round in Malaysia, and that's good tonic for him because you've got 2 more races there at the end of this season. Brilliant stuff. Now Sasaki is pulling away. Started this race 6th on the grid, and he leads then on to the start of lap 7 of 15. We still have 9 laps to go. We're not even at half race distance yet. Down into turn 1. Oh, it's a little bit leery though for Sasaki, isn't it?
Sasaki reminds me, just watch him when he brakes, he reminds me of a very young Jorge Lorenzo. He's got that head bob. He sort of like just appears from behind the screen, and his head wobbles around all over the place. There we go. Pops up, wobbles, and then tucks down back underneath it. But yeah, he really thought about Toba, thought about going back up the inside, and that nearly compromised him. He nearly lost second place to Date. As we've had a change for the lead again, it's really difficult to see from behind who it is as we go around. It looks like maybe, Toba has taken the lead back away, and Date's dropped to third. So, no, Date's dropped up to second, and Sasaki is back in third, and it's going to change again. No, it doesn't. Okay, so here we go. Toba leads now. Sasaki in third, Date in second, and another rider down. This is Yang Chen, the lone Chinese rider, has binned it into the gravel. Just shake a few stones out of that, and he'll be back on the grid. So we've had 3 crashes so far. Fakuzi Rostam, Ria Mizuno, and Yuhan Chen.
Yeah, Tim was battling away there with Ralph Torres for 16th and 17th places in the race. Whether they connected or not, I'm not quite sure, but it looks as though Torres has escaped. So Chen very much out of the race. Sasaki really was hung out to dry, wasn't he, between turns 3 and 4 on this lap. So he led, George, but he led very briefly. And this is just going to keep happening. Look, get in behind me, he says. And that's a signal back then to Sasaki in third place from the championship leader Yuta Date.
You assume that's the signal he was going for.
Yeah,
Not
well,
like,
you'd imagine
isn't this
so.
a really nice bike? It probably is the international sign language of motorcycle racing. Yeah. Just follow me, as somebody really doesn't want to be slipstream there, does he? As Toba goes way out to the side, but it is a longer route if you do that. You know, you're adding a few meters here and there. It might not look like it, but it will maybe make a difference. So is it worth it with 9 laps to go? Possibly not. He's not going to lead from now until the end, that's for sure. I'm, staking my reputation on that apparently, but he is leading at the moment. Kaito Toba, Yuta Date, these are your championship battle. Date leads it by just 4 points, and we've got 75 points to play with.
Now then, look at Date. He weaves from one man to the other, just trying to distract the man in front of him. Toba leads, Date second, Sasaki's up there in third place at the moment. Kaniname was fourth as they started the lap, but that may well have changed already. Rizal was fifth, and then Senkino is up there in sixth place. Haven't seen too much of him actually so far this afternoon, but look at it now. This is a fascinating group. It's all the way back down to Chantra in 8th position. So never mind Magnificent 7. What about Glorious 8? There's not really a phrase for 8, is there?
Octogenius 8.
Apart from that one.
Yeah, there we go. I'm going to copyright that now as Toba still continues to lead from Date. At the back of that group, like you said, we've got Atira Puvapat and Chantra, 2 of the Thai riders just sitting at the back, 13 and 18. Shafiq Ezarik is a little bit further back now, leading the second group, 13 seconds back from these guys, with Katami, Asman, Noradin. Sarah Pooch has dropped back in there, but we've got another 5 riders all within, another 6 riders all within a second of each other further back from this. So battles all the way up and down the field as we've got a change for the lead as Yuta Date moves into first.
Yeah, and that's why that graphic disappeared so quickly. Toba would have had the lead if it had stayed how it was by 1 point. Not anymore. It's always dangerous to put those graphics up because something changes. Look at that moment in the background there. That was Atira Puvapat. He's pushing on though. He's catching, he's caught the group, but a big moment coming out of the V corner for him. Now they obviously can take liberties with the curves, but they need to be careful not to drop a wheel onto the grass, particularly out of turn 10 there and also the final corner, turn 14. So many of the riders have been doing that. Look at all the marbles on the track as well down the right-hand side there. So, bravest on the brakes. This is going to be very dramatic indeed, isn't it, in 8 laps' time.
Yuta Date, if you watch him through the corners, he really leads with his head.
Yeah.
He really looks where he's going. He doesn't keep his head sort of over the centre of gravity of the bike. He really sticks it down into the corner, gets it down as low to the ground as possible. But he is very confident. It's taken him about 3.5 laps to work his way back up from 4th to 1st. He didn't seem to get too flustered. He kind of got his rhythm back together, and now he's back up to leading where he was before. We're breaking up again. We've got 2 riders starting to pull away. These 2 guys that have been putting in the fastest laps throughout the weekend and constantly top the timesheets, Yuta Date and Kaito Toba, the 6 and the 16, and they're just starting to pull away as Ayuma Sasaki just stamps it down through the gears there. I don't know if he's got any problems or he's just particularly mad at his Honda NSF 250R, but he was really hammering his gear shift down as he backed it into that corner. And we've got a crash for Ezarik. Number 5 is out.
Oh dear, shame for Ezarik. He was quite a long way down the field anyway, I believe. Well, he certainly is now as his name goes plummeting down the timesheets. And another one down, 2 down, in fact, for that matter. And that is between turns 3 and 4. We know Ezarik is out of the race, but that's 2 more riders out of action. Let's just hope they're both okay.
This is from that second battle. This is Adam Noradin ahead of Kitami and Sarah Pooch. It may have been out of that battle that we had the riders falling from, because this is the leaders and that group hasn't changed. So it's in the second group. I said there were 6 riders all fighting together again, and we lost a couple of them just now. We'll get up to date with you as soon as we find out who that was. It was numbers 2 and 9, so it was Sarah Pooch and Ibrahim Noradin. So Sarah Pooch once again crashing out. She started the year so well. That's Noradin who's got up, but it's Sarah Pooch who's on the ground at the moment. She had a crash in round 1 in Qatar, and that really did knock her confidence.
Remember it well. Here's what happened then. Look at here we go. It's these 2 right here. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Horrible to see that situation. Sarah Pooch high-sided first of all.
That was very, very high. She must have been a good, nearly 2 meters up over there and flew for sort of 20 feet or so. So a big impact. She's probably a bit winded, and they'll just take care of her. As actually the light starts to fade a little bit now. Those guys perhaps who've chosen a clear visor might have a little bit of advantage, just picking their lines a little bit better, seeing their markers as we get into 6 laps to go. As we have Kunimine now, number 21, is having another go at it. He's moved past Sasaki and is now up into 3rd position and looking very racy.
Fantastic stuff in the Shell Advance Asia Tanaka, but it doesn't get much better than this. Up to the left-hander again then at turn 3, just darting around. That's Toba having a go at Date. We still know Date's got the fastest up in the race, and another one gone. Adam Noradin, what a shame, on the podium last time out for the first time in his home nation, Malaysia, and now then it has all gone horribly wrong.
Oh, that's at the final corner. He just came in too tight, hit the bumps and hit the curbing on the apex of that, with the first of the left-right in the final corner. Or was it? Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I think it is.
No, it's not the final corner, It's.
Well,
I think it was before that. It might have been round turn 7. I'm not sure, but that's it. Both the Noradin brothers are out.
Yeah, what a shame for Adam Norridon, as I say, up there for the first time on the podium last time out in Malaysia. Now, don't forget as well, there was a test for these guys between those races before that Malaysian round, but after China, there was a test that took place, and Date led the way in that test at the Sepang International Circuit. Very, very important venue, and the selection event coming up there as well. Don't forget, 174 riders, to be precise, will be invited to the 2015 selection event across the 27th and 28th of October. And that's a change as well, isn't it, George? Australian and New Zealand riders will be applicable for entry as well, and quite a lot of them on that selection event.
Yeah, they've sort of broadened the net a little bit to try and include some of the Australasian riders as well, the young guys who maybe don't have a series that they can really sort of show their talent in it and bring some of those guys through. Obviously, we've had a lot of very talented Australians coming through, but they've always had to make the trip to Europe to get noticed. This will give them the chance to race a little bit closer to home, you know, and race against sort of their peers and try and make a name for them and try and get spotted by Alberto Puig, who organises and basically looks after all the riders in these series and is always working out who is the next big thing, who might have what it takes to move up into, you know, the next step on the ladder, which really is the Red Bull Rookies Cup over in Europe.
Do you see Razal up the inside of Sasaki as they battle for fourth position into turn one? Very, very committed on the brakes was Razal. Now, if I'm not mistaken there's some marks on the back of the race suit of Ralph Torres. Let's hope he hasn't hit trouble. Look at the back of that racing. Now, that may well be, of course, from earlier on in the weekend, and let's hope it is for his sake in this race. He's running around in 14th place at the moment. Your battle back at the front. Your championship leader, Yuta Date, leads the way. Second is Toba, and he's second in the championship, but he's not going to be second for long in this race if this carries on. He's always choosing that inside line there, and I don't know why. Either commit to it or don't, because he's losing speed on the exit, and then that's putting Kanimene right on his back wheel, and Kanimene, if he pulls out of the slipstream here, he could just slide in on the inside there, but not quite. So, yeah, that line really compromising Toba a little bit as he's sort of searching for those possible places to pass Date, but really, is it worth passing halfway around the lap in this? You know, I mean, wait, bide your time, keep your position. There's no rush at the moment with 5 laps to go, but they do like to lead. I mean, these guys, they have racing brains, but they're not seasoned professionals. Perhaps some of the Japanese race a little bit more than the Malaysian or the Thai riders simply because they have access to, you know, a different series or different levels of bike, and they've been riding pocket bikes and stuff since they were 5. So there's a little bit of a difference for these guys. But better patience or have a go here. So when they were 5, so what was that, about 5 years ago? Yeah, a little bit more than that, maybe 10. The youngest, of course, 14 years old, and the oldest is 22, Mukladasara Puig, and she is coming up as okay. So we're getting the word that Mukladasara Puig is okay. No problems for her, so that's very good news as we continue to watch the battle at the front as we switch to 4 laps to go. There you go, 4 laps to go right now as they cross that finish line, which is quite some way down the start-finish straight here at Motegi. We've had some fantastic racing across the day in the World Championship, Moto3, Moto2, MotoGP, and there then is Chen. We saw him crashing earlier on in the race. At least he's got back into the action. Several riders are out, though, for good. We lost Rostam on the first lap. Ezeric is out of action. Norridon, Sarapouche, and then the other Norridon as well. Adam Norridon caught out in that incident right here when Sarapouche high-sided. What about Mizuno? He's still then, George, at the back of the field. Such a costly afternoon for Mizuno. He's 4th in the championship. But look at this going on at the front. So, how are they going to approach it? Again, it's that same situation. Is he going defensive, do you think? It doesn't... It seems a bit too wide to go defensive, or maybe he just really doesn't like following people into corners like that. Maybe he's just more comfortable running a slightly tight line. He does it again there. He's a little bit tight. He doesn't take the wide sweeping lines. He's running a little bit defensive, but it's not slowing him up too much all the way around the circuit. He's just managing to hold on. But think again on the exit there, a little bit tighter than all the other riders. Maybe that's just his style. But looking back at the field, in fact, Chen, who we just saw, is only 1 point because we've had a few riders crash out. He's only 1 place off getting a point, but he's 40 seconds back, and it'll actually be Mizuno who might catch Chen. It's just 3 seconds behind those two. Both of them crashed, but both of them back on track. And this is our leading group of 8 riders. Date Toba, Kanimene Sasaki, Shafiq Razal, Chantra, Sekino, and Nakira. It's all right. Adira Fubabat, sorry. It is sorry, everybody. One of the most Here we go. We're going to have a change. We're going to have a change for lead. No, not quite. He was right alongside Kaito Toba, right alongside Yuta Date, but not making it through that again. Just having a look, just biding his time.
And it's got to be really, at the moment, between these three. You've got to say Sasaki is just behind them. In fact, it's, Sasaki and then Rasol. Sasaki now starting to close in a little bit. He did drop back, and it was, 5 or 6 bike lengths. So we might have a change for second position here if Kanimine can just get down the inside, and he does. Kanimine goes for it into second position at the expense of Kaito Toba, pushes him well wide, and Sasaki might have a go as well, getting a run down in towards turn 3. Look at the number 22. No, he lost out on the exit there. We've had a change. The number 21 is into second position, and here comes Toba fighting back.
Toba just seems quite on edge, though, doesn't he? He keeps diving up the inside of corners, as you say, George. He's feinting, seeing what he can do about Date. A few looks behind him as well. It just seems like he's not quite comfortable at the moment. But then again, here's the toe. Will he do the same thing then? Down into the right-hander at turn 5. He dives to the inside. Will he be as... No, he's not committed enough on the brakes. Down into turn 5, as you say, he may well just be going defensive with all of those riders right behind him. The first of them now, Kanimine. But even so, he's losing momentum every single time he does that. And it really is saving Yuta Date's bacon at this stage as they climb up to the S's once again. So,
maybe now he's had that wake-up call of being passed by Kanimine. He might think about actually making the move on Date, trying to lead, trying to pull away a little bit, because, okay, it's fine to know that you could make it on the final lap as we look at a nice slow-motion replay of Date just coming out the final corner. Different riding styles for all these guys, but number 16, Toba, maybe he should not try and sit at the head of a group. We've seen in races earlier, especially in the Moto3 race, that everything can happen when you get to this corner that's coming up on the final lap. And it's a very narrow entry. And if you get it wrong, you don't have a lot of space to recover. As here we go, change for the lead.
So through then, for the first time for a long time, he takes the lead. Toba takes, but it's not going to last, is it? Because look at the momentum that he has coming back through there, and Date retakes the lead. Toba leads briefly, Date retakes it. Okay, he's sized him up. He's tried it once. He's got 2 more attempts.
It's exactly what I was saying. Thank you very much, guys, for demonstrating exactly the point I was trying to make. That if you go in too tight, you don't get the bike stopped in time. You run a little bit wide, you're going to lose out. So he's going to have a go into turn 1 as well now, which is much wider and much easier. You can push the other guy out wide, which you can't do at that final hairpin, the 90-degree corner. So, a little bit of a sit-up there at the back for number 18, Chantra, and he's ahead of Atira Puvapat, who's just at the back of this. But really, anybody could take this at the moment. We've got 8 guys as we have a change for the lead. Now, here goes Toba. That's a different point. He hasn't tried there before, but we know he's fast on the exit of this corner. And he has. He's pulling a little bit of a gap over Toba, who is compromised there. And Kanimine will go down the outside, 3 abreast.
Wow, this is Date on the inside line, championship leader. He needs to be very, very careful indeed. 21 is Kanimine on the outside now. Then is he committed enough under brakes this time? Yes, he is. Great stuff there from Toba. Leads this race through the underpass. Goes very, very defensive. He's going to lose momentum now all the way up the hill towards the S's. And watch out for Date as well. He's still in there in 3rd place. What's number 6? He's going to try and take... No, he does not retake the lead. Stays 3rd for the time being. This is where the tension really builds now. They know they only have 1 more lap left in this race. This is round 7 of 9 in the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. What's for Sasaki as well, number 22, some very dramatic lines around the outside of turn 1. That's always a risk, though, because if somebody has a front ender, it will just wipe you out on the outside. We will have 1 lap to go here at Motegi. Predict a winner. Place your bets.
No, thank you very much.
No
Date
way.
is in 3rd position. It's all changed. Toba leads ahead of Kanimine. Date in 3rd. Sasaki in 4th. 16, 21, 6 and 22. So as they fan out once more, heading down into the 90-degree corner. Almost a little bit of a touch there. And it is Date who goes from 3rd to 1st, just and holds it tight as we get, yes, that's Toba into 2nd and Kanimine in 3rd now. So Date dropped back 2 positions during that lap, pulled it back in that final corner. And with 1 lap to go, coming up now, he will have it all to do. Leading from the front, can he hold on?
Final lap then in round 7 and 9 of the 2014 Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. Date leads the standings. He's won twice already this year, but look out, 16 diving up the inside. That's Toba. He's 3 times a winner. He's won half the races so far, and he's piled the pressure on the shoulders of Date all race long. Having said that, you have to say Date's led for most of this race. This is the championship in the balance as well. Watch out for the likes of Kanimine, number 21, Sasaki 22. Here once again then comes Toba. He's made it stick. Same corner as last time, George.
Yeah, carbon copy of what he did 1 lap before. Let's see what happens on the exit again. It's almost an exact replay of what happened. They'll fan out once more. Will we have 3 abreast? Will we have 4 abreast as we head down into turn 5. Yes, 4 abreast. On the inside, Sasaki is going for it. We're going to have some sort of contact. No, not quite. They just all managed to pull it together. It was Date that made it through, I think. Yes, Date leads now ahead of Toba. Then it is Sasaki in 3rd place, Kanimine in 4th.
So Date certainly got the speed out of the 130R there and up to the S's. 16 still in 2nd is Toba. They're 1st and 2nd in the championship as well. Sasaki then goes 3rd in this race in front of Kanimine. This top 4, will they be the top 4 when they cross the line in half a lap from now? It's all going to come down to that 90-degree right-hander at the end of the back straight. Is it a good idea, though, to lead onto the back straight? Having said that, Date has led onto the back straight for most of the race and not been passed down into there, apart from the one occasion on which Toba went through and then ran out wide on the exit. So here we go. We're down the back straight for the last time.
Watch out for number 3 at the back of that group, Shafiq Rizal. He might play a part in this as well as we all fan out. Line astern now, and they're going to pull over to the right-hand side of the screen. It is Date that leads. Toba in 2nd. Toba's going really, really narrow in this. Will he be able to break in time? He's running it very, very deep into turn 1. Just holds onto it, but will Date have the speed? And then round the outside, I think that was Sasaki. Indeed, it is, but it's Date who leads into the final corner. Date from Toba from Sasaki. One more corner to go. Toba goes for it.
Oh, a big wobble through the final corner. It carries on. How on earth did he hold on to it? And who's in the lead? Sasaki's in the lead as they come out of the final corner. Sasaki takes victory at Motegi, round 7 of 9. That was a sensational finish. Rizal went 2nd, Kanimine 3rd, Toba ends up 5th and Date 7th. Can you believe it?
That was a podium that nobody would have predicted. The 2 championship leaders, Toba and Date, finished 5th and 7th after going into the final turn together as we follow some of our riders finishing up. This is number 11, Helmi Asman, who's coming in this fight for 9th place ahead of Tsurugi Kitami. So this is Asman who's going to come home. One of the smallest kids on the course, he's going to come home in 9th position. Good ride for him. But what a final corner. Ayuma Sasaki wins 2 on the bounce. Very good for the number 22. A great birthday present as well. He turned 14, like I said, just a couple of weeks ago. And he's going to be very happy. Number 23, Wilman Hamar, comes across. Good ride for him as well. And we're just waiting for Yoshida, who's coming ahead at the top of this battle. And it is, in fact, Bahudin ahead of Yoshida in 13th place, Ralph Torres and Asman Noor. That is a good fight between those 4 right at the back. But Ayuma Sasaki just absolutely was in the right place at the right time.
I said watch out for him with those lines around the outside. He was on the outside as they came out of turn 11. Just positioned his bike behind Toba and Date into that final corner, hoping and thinking probably that something would happen. And Rizal on the podium then for the 2nd time in 3 races. Fantastic stuff. Here we go again, and this is the final lap. Down into the right-hander at turn 11. 16 is Toba, 6 is the championship leader Date, 22 is your eventual winner, currently in 3rd place. So he's diving to the left. He was thinking about the inside then as they got to turn 12, but thought better of it. Watch him, ducks back behind the leaders. And now this is where it's all going to kick off into the last corner as Date and Toba go head-to-head. Toba comes through on the inside. We're about to see a huge wobble. I thought he'd saved it for a moment.
And then massive slide there for Date completely. Date just gets it all wrong, and they both do, just by bucking and weaving, and they both lose drive completely. And the man that was in 3rd place, Sasaki, was just totally... Date's just totally going on the grass. I'm going to cross the line no matter what. Massive slide, kicks it out, and then look at the outside, the number 17 of Sekino, almost getting 3rd place, just pipped at the line by Kinimine. So really, really close. And Shafiq Rizal was celebrating before the line there, and it actually took Sasaki a couple of meters to realise just what had happened, because nobody could have predicted that. And what a final turn. These guys just pushing the absolute limit, and you don't often see people trying to make that pass into the aptly named Victory Corner. It was for Ayuma Sasaki here today. Here is Date coming into the pits. He's just pegged it around as fast as possible on that lap, and he'll be the first bike back. Very disappointed with himself. This is his worst finish. He was 6th once before, and he was in, I have to say, floods of tears after that, because he puts a lot of pressure on himself for this. So he'll be very disappointed with that. This man won't.
If ever you wanted a dramatic finish to a motorcycle race, you've just seen it right here, right now. What an unbelievable and energetic 7th round of 9 then in the Shed Advance Asia Talent Cup. What's it done for the championship? Well, Date was leading by 4 points coming into today. He still leads Toba, but now by the reduced margin of 2 points. Sasaki, today's winner, is now only 10 behind and still 3rd in the championship. Wow, he's good, putting some pressure on. And, George, we now go to Malaysia in a double header And who won that race when we were first there? Sasaki.
So, yeah, he will have a lot of confidence going into those final 2 races, and he will be absolutely unstoppable at the moment. He'll be like a whirlwind running through the pits when he gets back in there. He's bound, got bounteous energy at the worst of times, so he's going to be ecstatic after this, and so will his father, because all of these guys normally travel with their fathers who do a lot of the maintenance work on the bikes and look after them and help them with everything. But here he comes into Parc Ferme, Ayumu Sasaki, winner for the 2nd time of the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. Congratulated by his father. Big hug for the birthday boy. And a great result. Takes his glasses off, doesn't wear them normally, but only for racing, and maybe they just give him a little bit of extra help.
They certainly seemed to there, didn't they? Wow. Sasaki then, what a great record. He's just reading off the results. 3rd in Qatar, 4th in Indonesia, 3rd in China 1, 3rd in China 2. There was that non-finish in the first Malaysian round, but then, as I say, bounced back in that 2nd race in Malaysia just a few weeks ago to win that race. And then we're back to Malaysia in just 2 weeks' time. We have a real shootout on our hands then in this inaugural season of the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup, all into Parc Ferme. Razol's bike is number 3. He's on the podium then for the 2nd time. Great stuff as well there, though, for Razol. Quick run through then the results of an unbelievable race here. Japanese riders leading the way in the championship, and also in the race Sasaki from Razol and Kunihime Sekino up there to 4th place as well, George. That's remarkable. Look at the gaps as well all the way down there. Just 0.4 of a second covering the top 5. Toba then in there in 5th place, so that's 2 more points than Date. Chantra went 6th. Date, as we know, championship leader, picks up 9 points for 7th place. Further down the order then, Atira Puvabat survived for 8th from Asman and Kitami. Hammer, Bahudin, Toshida, Torres and Noah completed the points scorers. We did see 5 retirements, though, and lucky to see that the likes of Sarah Push were walking away from, taken away on the stretch, actually. So best wishes to Sarah Push. It was a big impact, wasn't it, coming through turn 4?
It was indeed, and a big high side on one of these small machines, but a great race. We had a brilliant race the last time you had us live in Qatar, and you'll have us live again in 2 weeks' time when these guys go to Malaysia, and we'll have some more epic racing from the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. Ayumu Sasaki, and let's take a look at the championship standings. So Yuta Date still leads it, but the gap is down to 2 points, 121 to 119. Ayumu Sasaki now closes in by just 10-point gap to the overall lead. Takuma Kunihime moves up into 4th position. Expense of Mizuno, who didn't score any points here now. 46, still mathematically within chance of winning the championship, both of them, but it's unlikely to happen. Shafiq Razol up 2 places into 6th after his podium again. Anna Noradin drops down a place. Nagarin Atirapuvapat just finished outside the top group, 1.4 seconds back from the win, but he moves down 1 spot in the championship, just ahead of Songkyak Chantra, whose good result moves him up to 11th position. Helmi Asman for Guzi Rostam, and then at the back end of the grid, Nazarul Bahudin, Ralph Torres, Andy Iraza, Azan Noor, and Tsubasa Yoshida picking up 3 more points to add to the 1 he scored last time out in Sepang.
Wow, just get your breath back. That was sensational stuff. Still 2 races to go. There's the hotel here at Twin Ring Motegi, just situated on the top of the hill. Plenty of banners in the pit lane without giving too much away after the MotoGP race, just in case you didn't see that one. But there's Kunihime then and Razol. They really learned a lot there, didn't they? Through those final corners. It's one of the most energetic final corners I think I've ever seen in any motor race.
That was Kunihime's 2nd podium. He got 2nd in China, so that's his 2nd podium this season. But for Shafiq Razol, that's a great result. In the home of the Japanese riders, where a lot of them have raced again and again, he had a calm head, and he was in the right place at the right time to make the most of their mistakes. It's not often you come to Motegi in a race with Moto3 machines and don't have some sort of incident on the final lap. Somebody running wide, somebody going in the gravel, somebody just making a few mistakes or braking a little bit too hard, a bit too early in those final corners. And here, for the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup, we had one of the most dramatic ones you will ever see.
Here we go again then into that final corner. 16 on the left is Toba. Date is the championship leader. First of all, then it's Toba who has a big wobble there. Now watch Date. Rear wheel gets away from him. He's going to run all the way down the grass verge now.
Lucky to save it. Really lucky.
How did he save it?
I don't know. I think that was, again, just he shut off as it slid and just managed to get it on. But just look at him. He's cutting the grass up there. Again, staying on, nearly losing it. He could so easily have crashed just then on his way back on to picking up just 7th position. Only 1.136 seconds off the winner, but it was a little bit too much to take any worthwhile points. As they come up behind the podium.
Oh, you've got Andrea Iannone up there as well. Fresh from the MotoGP race earlier on this afternoon. Carmelo Espeleta, CEO of Dorna Sports. Well, that was amazing stuff. I wanted to see him running down the grass there. Bit of grass tracking then. So they'll make their way out onto the podium. Brand new series then, if that was the first race you've ever seen. This is the very first season of the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. This was round 7 of 9, and we have such a championship fight going on now. It all comes to a head in Malaysia in 2 weeks' time. Prize giving then on that same podium where you had the likes of Marc Marquez standing just a short time ago. Iannone presenting the trophies.
Yeah, Andrea Iannone, MotoGP rider for Ducati, presenting to Takuma Kanimine his 3rd place trophy. Going to be pretty happy with that. Maybe he thought he could win at certain points. He looked pretty racy. He was up to 2nd at one point, and in that battle with Date and Toba for the lead. And in fact, Sasaki was the one who really didn't ever get anywhere near the podium. Along with this man, Shafiq Razal, he was always sitting there in 5th, 6th place, had the pace, and just ran with the leaders, bided his time, and took 2nd position. A fine 2nd position for him. But this is our winner here today. Ayumu Sasaki, the 14-year-old, receives his trophy to win here at Motegi in the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup.
The Japanese anthem in Japan. It's exactly what they want to hear, isn't it? Can you believe as well he was born in the year 2000? Seems so recent, doesn't it? Congratulations then to Sasaki, turned 14 just a few weeks ago at the start of October. 2nd win on the bounce then for him in the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. Moves to within just 10 points now then of Yuta Date. Next race coming up then, that's Sepang in Malaysia. It's a double header. It's the championship finale on the weekend of the Malaysian Motorcycle Grand Prix. Thank you very much indeed then for joining us for an unbelievable 7th round of the season. Thanks very much from George and myself. It has been a very energetic race. Let's take a look back at the highlights. It sets it all up perfectly then for Sepang in 2 weeks' time.